On the day of the 2024 U.S. presidential election, an elite team of mercenaries, led by Captain Ahab, prepares for a high-stakes mission. The team, composed of highly trained operatives from different nationalities, is contracted by the CIA for a classified operation. Their target is a high-ranking North Korean official, an operation so delicate that its exposure could trigger a global conflict. Ahab, a battle-hardened leader with a prosthetic right leg, is briefed inside a covert operations center. The CIA contact Mac explains the mission's objectives: infiltrate an underground bunker beneath the Korean Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, abduct the North Korean Armed Forces minister, and ensure his extraction. The intelligence suggests that the target's capture will provide critical leverage in ongoing diplomatic negotiations. Tension rises as Ahab questions the mission's viability. The bunker is fortified and heavily guarded, making the operation extremely dangerous. However, Mac assures them of real-time intelligence support and airstrike capabilities if necessary. The team reviews the bunker's layout, enemy positions, and escape routes. Ahab, knowing the risks, accepts the mission, instructing his men to gear up. The team boards a military transport and moves toward the infiltration point. The atmosphere inside is tense, as each soldier mentally prepares for the mission. Ahab, determined to complete the job, checks his weapons and prosthetic leg before giving his final orders. With the stakes at an all-time high, the mission is now in motion. Under the cover of darkness, Ahab and his elite mercenary team arrive at the designated entry point near the Korean Demilitarized Zone, DMZ. Equipped with state-of-the-art weaponry and surveillance technology, they proceed with caution. Their mission is to infiltrate an underground bunker 30 meters beneath the surface, where the North Korean Armed Forces minister is reportedly hiding. Using a concealed tunnel system, the team advances through tight corridors, guided by real-time intel from Mac. The air is thick with tension as they move silently, ensuring no alarms are triggered. As they descend deeper, they encounter reinforced steel doors blocking their path. Ahab signals his explosives expert, who carefully sets charges to breach the entrance without drawing unnecessary attention. The explosion is controlled, and the team swiftly moves inside, sweeping the area with tactical precision. They eliminate a few unsuspecting guards before securing a central control room. From there, Ahab taps into the bunker's security feed, assessing enemy positions. He quickly formulates a plan to locate and extract the target. Suddenly, a radio transmission intercepts an alert from the North Korean forces. Their presence has been detected. Knowing they have limited time before reinforcements arrive, Ahab gives the command to push forward. They navigate the dimly lit corridors, weapons at the ready, fully aware that the real battle is about to begin. As Ahab and his team push deeper into the underground bunker, the silence is broken by the sound of distant footsteps. The North Korean soldiers have been alerted. Within seconds, gunfire erupts from multiple directions. The mercenaries take cover behind concrete pillars and steel crates, returning fire with deadly accuracy. Ahab shouts orders to his team, directing them to split into smaller units to flank the enemy. Bullets ricochet off the bunker walls, and the confined space amplifies the chaos. The team's sharpshooter picks off hostiles from a distance while the heavy gunner lays down suppressive fire. Despite their superior tactics, the North Korean forces keep advancing, determined to protect their facility. One of Ahab's men, Jose, gets pinned down as enemy reinforcements arrive. Ahab rushes to his aid, taking out 2 soldiers before dragging Jose to cover. Blood stains the cold concrete floor as casualties mount on both sides. Mac, monitoring from afar, warns Ahab that more troops are mobilizing and time is running out. The mercenaries push forward, systematically clearing rooms, but the resistance is relentless. Explosions shake the bunker as grenades detonate near their position. Ahab realizes they need to reach their target fast before they're overwhelmed. He signals the team to regroup and move toward the secured chamber where the North Korean minister is reportedly hiding. With the battle intensifying, the mission is quickly spiraling out of control. The battle inside the bunker grows deadlier as the North Korean forces refuse to back down. Ahab and his team press forward, but the tight corridors limit their movement, making them easy targets. Suddenly, an explosion from a grenade sends debris flying, knocking 2 of Ahab's men to the ground. The dust settles, revealing one soldier lifeless, while another screams in pain from shrapnel wounds. Ahab quickly assesses the situation. Their medic, Devon, rushes to stabilize the injured man, but the team is forced to leave their fallen comrade behind. Gritting his teeth, Ahab orders the squad to keep moving. The loss weighs on them, but survival is their priority. As they advance, another ambush catches them off guard. Jose, already wounded from earlier, is struck by multiple bullets. Ahab drags him to cover, desperately trying to stop the bleeding, but it's too late. Jose's breathing slows and he succumbs to his wounds. Ahab clenches his fists in frustration, but knows there's no time to mourn. Mac's voice crackles over the radio, urging them to hurry. More enemy reinforcements are on the way. The mission has already cost them dearly and they are running out of time. With fewer men and rising tension, Ahab pushes his team forward toward the target's chamber. Every step feels heavier as the weight of their losses sinks in. But the mission isn't over yet. With their numbers dwindling, Ahab and his remaining team members fight their way toward the secured chamber. The sound of gunfire and explosions echoes through the bunker as they press forward. Just as they reach a reinforced door, an enemy soldier fires a well-placed shot, striking Ahab in the side. The impact sends him staggering backward, pain searing through his body. His team immediately returns fire, eliminating the attacker, but Ahab is seriously wounded. He grits his teeth and presses a hand to his side, feeling warm blood seep through his vest. Devin, the team's medic, rushes to his aid, applying pressure to the wound while injecting him with a painkiller. "You're not dying here," Devin mutters as he stabilizes Ahab. Despite the injury, Ahab refuses to back down. He forces himself to his feet, determined to complete the mission. Mac, monitoring the situation, warns them that enemy reinforcements are closing in fast. Time is running out. Knowing they can't afford to slow down, Ahab signals his team to breach the door. They set an explosive charge and take cover. The blast shatters the heavy steel barrier, revealing their target, North Korea's armed forces minister standing inside, guarded by a handful of soldiers. Ignoring the pain from his wound, Ahab raises his weapon. The final phase of the mission has begun. After breaching the secured chamber, Ahab and his team expect to find only the North Korean armed forces minister. However, to their surprise, they also encounter Dr. Yoon, a renowned South Korean scientist with deep political and military ties. Yoon appears alarmed by their presence, but Ahab, still clutching his wounded side, demands answers. Dr. Yoon, visibly shaken, warns Ahab that their mission is bigger than they realize. He reveals that the minister they are targeting is involved in a secret geopolitical scheme that could destabilize the entire region. Ahab, already skeptical of the CIA's motives, presses for more details, but Yoon hesitates. Before he can elaborate, the bunker trembles as another explosion rocks the facility. Enemy reinforcements are closing in fast. Mac, still providing intel through comms, urges Ahab to extract the target immediately, but Yoon insists that simply capturing the minister won't solve anything. There are deeper consequences at play. Ahab faces a critical decision: trust the scientist and dig deeper, or complete the mission as planned. As the tension escalates, North Korean guards stationed inside the chamber suddenly attack. A brief but intense skirmish ensues, forcing Ahab's team to eliminate them. With the gunfire subsiding, Ahab turns back to Yoon, realizing that the scientist may be the key to uncovering the true nature of their mission. However, time is running out, and the situation is growing increasingly unstable. As Ahab and his team struggle to secure Dr. Yoon and the North Korean Armed Forces minister, Mac's voice crackles over the radio with an urgent update. The CIA, growing impatient with the mission's delays, has ordered a second airstrike to eliminate the bunker regardless of whether Ahab's team is still inside. Ahab clenches his jaw in frustration. He had suspected the agency would cut their losses if things went sideways, but he didn't expect them to act this quickly. With the first bombing already having weakened the structure, a second strike would collapse the entire facility, burying everyone inside. He has minutes to make a decision. Dr. Yoon, overhearing the conversation, becomes more frantic. He warns Ahab that the minister possesses information that could prevent a global conflict, but only if they get him out alive. Ahab relays the urgency to Mac, demanding they delay the airstrike. Mac hesitates, knowing the decision isn't his to make. The higher-ups want results, not complications. With time slipping away, Ahab pushes his team to move faster. They secure the minister and force open an alternate escape route. However, the sound of incoming aircraft rumbles overhead. The countdown has begun. The only way out is through the same war-torn corridors they fought through earlier, but with North Korean forces regrouping and a bombing imminent, survival seems nearly impossible. With the second bombing imminent, Ahab and his surviving team members rush to extract the North Korean minister and Dr. Yoon. The underground bunker is collapsing, and the air is thick with smoke and debris. Ahab, despite his injury, pushes forward, knowing they have mere minutes before the airstrike wipes out everything. Mac frantically coordinates an emergency extraction point, directing Ahab toward a service tunnel that leads to the surface. However, North Korean reinforcements block their path, forcing the team into another firefight. Ahab takes cover while his men return fire, but the tight space limits their movement. One of his teammates is shot, further slowing them down. Dr. Yoon pleads with Ahab to hurry, emphasizing that the minister's survival is critical to preventing an international crisis. Weighing his options, Ahab makes a split-second decision. He orders his men to cover their retreat while he and Mac's operatives force their way through the enemy line. The team fights relentlessly, managing to breach the tunnel's final exit just as the distant roar of incoming fighter jets fills the air. They emerge into the open, signaling for extraction. A helicopter hovers above, its ladder dropping down. Ahab shoves Dr. Yoon and the minister up first before climbing himself, but just as they ascend, the bunker is obliterated in a massive explosion. Hanging onto the ladder, Ahab watches the destruction below, knowing they barely made it out alive. As the bunker is obliterated in a fiery explosion, Ahab and his team cling to the helicopter's rescue ladder, swinging violently in the turbulence. Smoke and debris fill the air below, a grim reminder of how close they came to death. Inside the aircraft, the crew struggles to stabilize the chopper against the shockwave from the bombing. Ahab, still bleeding from his wound, uses his remaining strength to pull himself onto the aircraft. He reaches down to help the others, starting with Dr. Yoon and the North Korean minister. His remaining teammates climb up as well, each one exhausted but alive. The pilot radios Mac, confirming the successful extraction, but their troubles aren't over yet. As they gain altitude, North Korean anti-aircraft missiles lock onto their position. Alarms blare inside the cockpit as the pilot performs evasive maneuvers. The helicopter jerks violently, causing one soldier to nearly lose his grip. Ahab and another teammate rush to secure him just in time. Mac scrambles to get U.S. military support to intercept the threat, but the team is on their own for now. The pilot releases flares to counter the missiles, narrowly avoiding disaster. After several tense moments, they finally escape North Korean airspace, entering safer territory. Ahab collapses against the cabin wall, gripping his wound. They may have survived, but the mission's consequences are far from over. Dr. Yoon and the minister exchange a knowing glance. There is still much to uncover. Safely away from North Korean airspace, Ahab and his team finally exhale. The mission is over, but the cost has been severe. Inside the helicopter, Ahab, still bleeding from his wound, watches as Dr. Yoon stabilizes the North Korean minister. The official, though weak, is alive, making him the key to unraveling the deeper conspiracy behind the entire operation. Mac, communicating through the radio, confirms that their extraction has triggered an international crisis. The covert nature of the mission means Ahab and his team will receive no recognition, only silence. The CIA, unwilling to take responsibility, distances itself from the operation. Ahab realizes he and his men were nothing more than disposable assets. As they approach their safe zone, Ahab reflects on the mission's true cost. He lost valuable teammates, barely survived, and now understands that the operation's purpose was far beyond what he was led to believe. Dr. Yoon warns that the information they've uncovered could shift global power dynamics, but it remains unclear if the truth will ever come to light. The helicopter lands and Ahab steps onto solid ground, his mind racing. The world remains oblivious to the sacrifices made, and he knows that despite completing the mission, there will always be another battle ahead. As the dust settles, Ahab walks away, uncertain of what comes next but knowing that war is never truly over.